So, I made a combination lock. Friends are great, but they steal stuff, my precious stuff, and I don't like that. I could hide my stuff and they will find it. I could put my stuff in the most secure vault ever and they'll spawn dragons and withers and this to stop me. How does one even stop this? Either have no friends or redstone. Yes, it may not be the most durable thing built, but it has an insane amount of meaning. It's so messy with your redstone, you bet you got a bunch of apology letters and videos, poems coming your way, as no one messes with redstone. So all you gotta do is take a big redstone door to a cool activation thing and bam, secure, simple. Not so simple. And what do I do when I'm lazy and don't want to build big scary looking things? I make my own. So I made a cool activation thing, also known as a combination lock. You want a lock? I have a lock. Let's go make a lock. Hello everyone, my name's Tomco, welcome back. Now, just before we start, this is for Bedrock only, so no Java people, Bedrock only. So today we're going to be taking a look at this super cool item combination lock. Now, if you don't know what an item combination lock is, then you need to go find one. I'm only joking. Now what it is, it's like a padlock but in an item frame. So let's say I had the code 1, 3 and 5. You had to put this inside of this item frame like so, and then we'll open up something. In this case it's a big door. So since my code is 1, 3, 5 and 7, 8, all I have to do is put this to all those numbers. So start from number 1, scroll it round till it gets number 1. You wait for the little ding, that's to tell you that you can move on. See, if you did it straight away, just ran in circles, and what's the point of that? He'll just kind of do all them all. So let's say move it to 3, wait for the ding, and then a 5, and then a 7, and then finally an 8, and voila, the door will open just like that. Now the door will stay open until you press this button, but let's say, oh no, I've trapped myself on the other side. This is a disaster. We can go ahead and click this button again, and you are going to be left out. It's nice to know that the contraption doesn't kidnap you. Now bear in mind the sequence can be put in any order whatsoever, so it doesn't have to be 1, 3, 5, 7, 8. You can also do it with 8, 7, 5, 3 or 1 if you really wanted to. Padlocks, you don't have to do that in sequence, so this you don't have to do it either. And plus, my memory is bad as it is. I don't need to remember more stuff, please. Now also what's really cool about this, you can have the redstone underneath the floor. So the redstone's all underneath here, and the only thing sticking out is this little brownie bit here. And don't worry, no one's going to be shouting at this anytime soon. Look how crazy small it is. So over here I've just got the same thing, but instead of having the redstone under the floor, I've just got it to the side. So of course, point in your code, so 1 and a 3, 5, 7 and a 8. The door will open, and there we go. As you can see, the door opens up. Now for this, instead of the redstone being underneath the ground, it is just directly behind this wall. Now what's really cool about this, you can also use a Lecterns with it, and don't be afraid by the size of this redstone. I promise you, it's just extremely repetitive, and you will not get confused by it. Don't be scared of redstone, people. It's not that scary. It won't bite. So yeah, you can use a Lectern for it as well. It only adds 7 blocks long as well. The dimensions for this one is 5 blocks wide, 5 block tall, and then 10 blocks this way. And the dimensions for this one is 5 by 5 by 17. So the difference isn't that much, but you don't need any more than 8 things in your signal, do you? A longer password than 8 letters, it's just a little bit insane. And you can have up to 8 different numbers in your combination lock. So let's say you wanted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can do that, or you could just have 1 and 5. You can also do that. You can go as little as 1 number, and you can go as maximum as 8. But please, don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's not worth it. So yeah, this is what this one looks like. As you see, it is just coming out of the ground, then it's going back under the ground. So to do that, all we would have to do is something like this, where it just goes all the way down and then connect back to this signal here. By the way, if you wanted world download, there should be one in the Discord server, so go ahead and check that out where you can get all the downloads you want. Anyways, let's just go ahead and get stuck in with building this. Now, to build this thing, you're going to have to use all of these materials just like so. So once again, go ahead and get every single one of these by. Bear in mind, those dirt blocks over there, they're just going to be the blocks that you're going to be using to build this out of. So you don't have to be dirt, you can use iron blocks or quartz, literally any solid block, but you can just use dirt as it is the cheapest. And by the way, if you're going to be using it as a lectern instead of as an item one, then this is everything you're going to be needing. So yeah, you're also going to need a 5 by 10 area for the item combination lock, and a 5 by 17 for the Lectern one. And also you want to start off with it here. So you want to build your item frame, put your little redstone torch in it, and you want to come 1 block behind, 1, 2, 3 and 4 blocks down, and this is where you're going to be building your platform here. So build this first and then go ahead and dig out this space just like so. So once you got all that set up, let's just go ahead and get started. So to start off, you want to come to your item frame just like so. You want to put a block to the left of it, a block just behind that like so, with a comparator coming away from this item frame. And that should be turning on, by the way. If it isn't turning on, you need to make sure this is a solid block and not like glass or a half level or anything. It does have to be a solid block. You then put a block up in front of this comparator, and then a block down just like so. You can go ahead and destroy this one. Put some redstone dust on top of that. It should be a very, very weak signal, but that's absolutely fine. You then want to come another block down. You can go ahead and destroy this one once again. I want to put one of these blocks all the way going to the very end. Put redstone dust all on these, just like so. So all in total, it should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 redstone dust. You then have to place your one piece of obsidian just on top of this. You then have to place a piston going into that obsidian so that it does not extend. That's what the obsidian is there to do, is to stop that piston from extending. You then put redstone dust on both of these. Now what this piston allows it to do is it allows the redstone signal to go past it down here and go to these redstone lines, and it also allows it to go up here and activate all of these redstone lines. But what's really special about it, you can also have redstone torches on the side of these and it will turn off. As if there's a solid block here, it wouldn't be allowing the redstone dust to go down to here, and if there's a transparent block, it would allow the redstone dust to go down, but you wouldn't be able to put a redstone torch in here and it would still be able to turn off. So pistons are a lifesaver in this case. You want to do the same thing that we did with the bottom to the top over here. Go ahead and run a line of blocks going all the way to the left with the redstone dust on top of every single one of these. You can then also just put redstone torches on the side of all of these blocks, just like so. And by the way, what should be happening now is every time we flick this once, I can see now 2 redstone dust are turned off. So that's 3, 4, 5 and go all the way to the end. And once we get past 8, they all turn back on and only one will be left on. Pretty sweet. You then want to come round and down. You want to put sticky pistons facing downwards below all of these redstone torches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So just something like that. So all of these ones should be turning on. However, this one over here, so you're only one that should be extended. But now, let's say you turn this to number 2. This one will turn back on and this one will be unextended. The number 3, the third one, and the number 4, the fourth one, so on and so forth. So good double check that it should be doing that. If it's not doing that, then you have messed up somewhere. You also then want to put redstone blocks in front of every one of these sticky pistons. So 1, 2 and 3. Go ahead and place one here and then finish the rest off just like so. So now what should be happening is every time we move it, it pulls the redstone block with it. You can go all the way back to number 1, just like so. So now it's time for you to choose the code that you want. This is probably the most important bit of all this. You can't have the wrong code. It's just pointless. So make sure that you do want the right code. So what you want to do is every time you want it to be a part of your sequence, you want to put a block just like so. So I want my sequence to be 1, 3, 5 and 7. So I'm going to put it 1 on 1 and I'm going to put block here on 3, 5 and 7. So what happens is this is number 1. This is number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So you want to put a block in front of all of these that you want your code to be. Now it doesn't matter if they're touching like this, it can literally just be whatever you want. And once you've done that, you want to put a row of blocks just in front of every single one of these redstone torches, just like so, until you get to the very end. So something like this. You then want to come down to the bottom, and where you have a block down here, you want to place a dropper facing downwards just like so. So I don't have a block here, so you don't place a dropper here. I do have a block here, you want to place a dropper facing downwards. I have one here, you want to place the dropper facing downwards. You have one here, place a dropper facing downwards. So it should be looking somewhere like this. You then want to also place droppers facing upwards on every single one of these blocks. Just like so. Now you should be able to hear it click. You can now fill in all of these spaces, and where you don't have droppers here, you want to place a redstone repeater coming away. So I don't have a dropper here, place a redstone repeater coming away, place one here, and here. You get yourself some observers, and you'll place an observer facing upwards in front of every single one of these repeaters. So observer facing upwards there, one here, and one here. Nope, that's a sticky piston. So if I was to go ahead and remove these blocks, you can always see that the dots should be facing upwards, and we put the blocks back, it will covering up all those observers dots. You get yourself some more redstone dust, you can put a line of redstone dust on top of all of these, just like so. Now what this will do, this will mean that when you get something wrong, let's say your code is 1, 3, 5 and 7, let's say you put a 2, it'll activate it and it'll reset everything. Let's say you got number 4, it'll activate it and reset everything. However, let's say you put number 1, it won't reset it. Which is kind of handy when you don't want people breaking it, as if you didn't have this, then you'll just be able to do every single one, and no matter what they did, they'll be able to unlock it, as there's nothing to reset it. You don't put any block inside all of these bottom droppers. So you want to put a block inside of this one, a block inside of this one, it can literally be any block. And then inside of this one, and inside of this one. You don't have to place some more blocks in front of all these droppers, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, with comparators facing away. They should all be turning on. If they are turning on just like this, then you have put it in the right space. You're going to put more blocks in front of every single one of these comparators, with sticky pistons facing upwards, just like so, with blocks of redstone on top of all of these. You don't place a row of half slabs or glass or anything like that that isn't a solid block. You don't place a row of this going all the way along here, just like so. This will make it so that when redstone dust gets activated on top of here, it won't activate this dropper. Get yourself some more blocks and place it to the side of all of these redstone dust, so one here, then run this all the way along to the end, and you want to place redstone dust in all of these. So just go ahead, get your head in here, place redstone dust on all of these half slabs, and there we go. You want to come back round to the front, you want to place a block here, a piston facing downwards, destroy this block, and then this is going to be your redstone torch. Now what this will do, this redstone torch will turn on when you have put in the right code. So basically, let's say we were to flick it to number 1, this block will get pushed up, which means this dropper will activate, which will put this item, will then go into this dropper, will make this comparator turn off, which will pull all these redstone blocks down, turning off this redstone dust. And then once every single one of these redstone blocks have turned off or pushed down, this redstone dust will be turned off, which means this piston can retract, making this redstone torch turn on. But by the way, if you do try to put in the code now, it won't work, just because we still have a couple things to do. So now you want to come back around to the front, and over here you want to place an observer facing downwards, just next to this redstone torch. So push down, you want to place a block over here, an observer facing downwards, you can then go ahead and destroy this, and put some redstone dust on top of this. You can then put a block below it. Now what this observer will do, is this observer will detect every time an update changes to this redstone. So you put a redstone torch to the side of this, actually every time you twiddle this, that redstone torch will flash. You can just go ahead and remove this now. That's not meant to be there. Now the circuit that we're adding in now will basically just make the whole thing work. Because what happens now, if we were to go ahead and flick this to, let's say we flicked it to 1, we've also accidentally activated 5, 6, 7 and 8, and we don't want to do that. Let's say we go ahead and flick this all the way around, let's say we want to get to 8. We have accidentally activated every single one of these, therefore there's no possible way we can put in the right code. So what this circuit does, it will basically just allow you to actually put in your code without accidentally activating everything. So let's say we wanted to go back round to number 7, let's go put it round to 7. We just activated every single number, which means we've instantly got it wrong, unless of course your code is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't put that. So what it will do is to only ever let these sticky pistons retract when there is no more inputs going into this, and that will be detected by this. So when this redstone dust has stopped flashing, then it will let any one of these sticky pistons retract. However, in this case, it will be the 7th one. So to carry on building this, you want to put a block to the left over here, a block down, destroy this block, and then to finish off this little circle just like so. You want to put redstone dust on all of these ones. You want to put a comparator coming away from this, so this is going to be a pulse extender. So every time we activate this, I can see this will get activated, and it'll only go off a little bit after we stopped moving this. You want to put a block up just in front of this, just like so. You want to put a redstone torch to the side of it, a sticky piston facing just to the down of it, so it should be facing left, just like so. You then put an observer coming away from here, just like so. You then put a block in front of that with the redstone dust here. Now what this redstone torch will do is only let any one of these sticky pistons retract when it's off. So let's say we turned it off now, or let the 7th one come in. However, if you put it back on, it'll instantly turn it off. So I can see we can drill around this all we want. However, as long as that pulse extender will stay activated, that redstone torch will down there will never turn off. Then once we let it turn off, it'll turn off, let this piston flash for just a little bit, letting it activate the dropper. You can also just put a note block down here and a block of gold just like this to signify when you can go ahead. So now let's say we put in our code, so 1, and then a 3, then a 5, and then finally a 7. As you can see, all of this was turned off just like so. I can see the whole code, all these redstone blocks are pushed down, which meant this has turned on. And then by the way, this blue circle up here, this is the reset circuit. So let's say you press this button, as you can see all of these redstone blocks would stick back up and this redstone torch will turn back off. Now this is what you're going to use to link it to a door or anything like that. So all you would have to do is take an output from this, and we could put a little door down here if you really wanted to. So if we've got an iron door, we could put a redstone dust going along here. Then now when we get the circuit right, there we go, I can see that door will open. However, you can also just link it up to something bigger, like a 3x3 or a 4x4 if you really wanted to. However, if you're going to link it up to a redstone door like that, you are going to have to put a redstone torch on the end, just something like this, beforehand you link it up. So here is just a very, very simple redstone door. However, you can link it up to like a 3x3 or a 4x4. So let's say we try doing it this way. So if you've clicked the reset button, the door will shut. We put in our code again. And then once you put it in, the door will open. So you want to go ahead and take this line and click, and you can literally link it up to anywhere you want to. So just link this line up to where your door is. So I've just added my door again as well. And by the way, what you want to do, you want to add another button onto the other side of your door. You want to link it just something like this. You can go literally any way you want to link it. So 2 redstone repeaters, a block up, redstone dust here, and you also want to link it into this blue circuit just like so. So any way you can do, I'm going to be doing it something like this. So as long as you link a button into this blue circuit like so, so then once you activate your code again, you then have a way of you closing the door behind. And that's the tutorial finished for the item frame version of this. I'm just going to quickly show you how to turn it into, so it works at least, for a Lectern. So if you're going to be using it with a Lectern, you still want to have something like this, where it will work with an item frame. You then just go ahead and remove the item frame and place it with the Lectern. What you also want to do, you want to add on to it. So you then want to bring all of this just to the left. So there should be 15 blocks in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. Run redstone dust along all of these. Put blocks up, redstone dust along all of these. Just like so. Get yourself some more redstone torches. Redstone torches going along all of these. More sticky pistons. And then sticky pistons facing down below every one of these redstone torches. Just like so. More redstone blocks, go ahead and put them just below this. And now you want to go ahead and add on to your sequence. So at the moment I've still got 1, 3, 5 and 7. Let's say I wanted to add more on. So let's say I wanted 9, 11, 13 and 15. You then go ahead and do that. And then also go ahead and put more blocks just in front of all of these. And then where you have these blue blocks, you want to place in droppers facing downwards. Just like so. So once again, these droppers are where your sequence is going to be. So overall, mine's going to be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 and 15. Pretty boring sequence, I know, but it's just for simplicity. You can of course make it more better, English. But then you also want to go ahead and carry on placing droppers facing upwards, just like so. Get yourself some more blocks and put them in these bottom droppers, just like so. They can literally be any blocks, just like so. Now you can go ahead and place in these blocks just like so, with the repeaters coming away from it. So that's going to tell the system when you got something wrong. You then once again put observers facing upwards and crouch and place these, and then you can carry on with this redstone line just like so. You then place blocks in front of all of these droppers, comparators coming away from them, more blocks, more sticky pistons facing upwards. And then, but just before you place in the redstone blocks, you can of course add in all these half slabs over here, and then carry on up with these top blocks, just extend it all the way to the end. Redstone dust going all the way along here, and then finish off with your redstone blocks just like so. So now the actual redstone turret is done. You just have to make yourself the book for the Lectern. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be making this book. So you want to open up your book, you want to have number 1 in the left page. It has to be the left, and you want to go and hold a new page to the right and write number 2, number 3, number 4 and number 5. You cannot do it, so you have number 1 on this side, the number 2 on this side. It has to be, so you have number 1 here, and then have a whole new page and number 2. So it goes all the way up to 15. It does actually have to go up to number 15. Let's say you only ever go up to 14, you still have to make it all the way to 15. So like so. So it should say page 29 out of 30. And then just to finish it off, you do want to have one little thing on the right page of this very last page. But you gotta make sure that you do not go past page 30 out of 30. Let's say if you did this, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to delete this. You're going to have to delete this too. So it has to say page 30 out of 30. Any more than that, it will not work. So once you got that, you can put it in here, and everything will start to work. So let's say it's already on number 1. We can change it to number 3. And now number 5. Now number 7. Now number 11. 9. Can't count. Now it's 11. 13. And finally 15. Now what should happen now? So as you can see, this redstone torch turns on, and there we go. All these redstone blocks have turned off. Now you can go ahead and once again link this up straight into a door if you really wanted to. So go ahead and follow what I said beforehand. Anyway, that's all from me. There is a link to build that door over there in the description below if you really wanted to. Anyway, if you found this tutorial helpful or you enjoyed it in any way possible, then please do consider subscribing and also leave the like so people know that this thing works and I'm not lying. As honestly, I love this thing. It really is really cool. Anyway, that's all from me, and I will see you all later. Have fun with your new crazy combination lock thing. I know you will do. Bye.